Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me on the show is Shail Bhatnagar as well. Well, it was an IT day on Friday and an IT day on Monday as well. And on expected lines, these technology stocks took the Nifty well past 22,000, marking yet another milestone. Ably supported by the index heavyweights like Reliance Industries, the Nifty in fact managed to close at 22,100, record closing high for the index. The big question is that will the momentum sustain? Now we will tell you all about it, but first up, the top headlines we're tracking for you this hour. Indian stocks may continue their upward climb on Tuesday as pent-up local buying in blue chips ahead of specific third quarter earning boosts prices and sentiment on the Lal Street. HDFC Bank will be under spotlight. Traders are advised strong caution on low-ticket, high-beta cash shares as excessive speculative activity shows signs of peaking on the Lal Street. New entrants should focus on mutual funds rather than trading. Very good morning to all our viewers and good morning to you, Shail, as well. But just like I was pointing out that India's benchmark stock indices ended at fresh record closing highs for the second day in a row. In fact, yesterday we did see that 60% of the Nifty's gains came in from heavyweights like Reliance Industries, Infosys, HDFC Bank combined. In fact, now all eyes are on HDFC Bank for the earnings this time around. Do you think HDFC Bank will further fuel fire in the indices now, Shail?
A very good morning to you, Sakshi. It's absolutely jittery cold outside. The fog is so thick that you can barely see, 5-10 meters at least in parts of South Delhi. But the vision, the scene, the sky is absolutely clear on the Lal Street. And as you very rightly said, yesterday's rally was led by IT as well as index heavyweights. That's Reliance, Infosys and HDFC Bank. There are two parts to this conversation, Sakshi. Would you want me to start with the positives or with the negatives? Choice is yours.
With the positive.
Absolutely. Okay, let's do. So, two trending days, Friday as well as Monday. The index in front of you is somewhere in the vicinity of 22,100. And a very strong set of buying is happening across the board, Sakshi. As you very rightly pointed out, a very strong trend coming in index heavyweights such as Reliance, which is already at a record high. And HDFC Bank, after many years, it used to declare earlier its quarterly earnings on the second Saturday of the reporting quarterly month. This time, the bank is doing it midweek, which falls on Tuesday. So that is something that you have to see. And both of us know, as also the wider audience, that HDFC Bank is the heaviest weighted index stock in the Nifty as well as Bank Nifty, and it has really underperformed over the last 18 months or so. So this one is going to be one of the major events to watch as far as the future trajectory of this very stunning rally is concerned. Now, when you look at how the Nifty is, obviously the trend is up. We've seen as far as January is concerned about 11 sessions till January 15th, and out of those 11 sessions, Sakshi, 8 of them have been positive. Out of the last 8 sessions, 7 sessions have been positive for the Nifty. And when you look at the December 29th close, which was the close for 2023, it was 21,731. So somewhere in the vicinity of 350 to 360 points have been added in this very sharp run-up. These are all positives. The immediate show on the Nifty somewhere like 22,500, much will of course depend on the HDFC Bank today, but very, very strong momentum. If you look at the options picture as far as the Nifty weekly chart is concerned, there is a very, very strong set of short covering happening, Sakshi, and that's bothersome for the bears. So all put together, a very, very strong support for Nifty bulls at 22,000. The most immediate target is 22,500, and much will depend on what HDFC Bank will do. All parts of Nifty are now clicking and clicking very, very rapidly and very, very rapid pace. Sakshi, these are the positives. If you wish, I can touch upon the negatives.
Yes, please. Essential to avoid any kind of exuberance.
So Sakshi, I believe, and as you very rightly mentioned in the second headline of yours, due caution. In fact, a huge amount of caution is advised at these levels. Sakshi, we've seen 22,000. The run-up has been very, very fast. It's all very good, but it's like a party, and one must know when the fag end of the party is approaching. Perhaps it's here. There is very, very little sensibility in risking your capital and your profit. If you are into a huge profit, it makes perfect sense, Sakshi, to take out some at this current level. You can always re-enter the market if it goes up. So my understanding is that if you look at how sharply negative indicators are blaring, you have to look no further than the put call ratio of the Nifty for the 18th Jan expiry. It's extremely oversold, 1.5. If you look at the Nifty PCR for 25th of January, which is the monthly expiry, it's 1.44. And you look at how India VIX, which is the risk index, rose sharply yesterday, about 5.2% at 13.78. So these are all signs that you just might see, a bit of profit booking coming in suddenly. And like I said, it's been a fantastic run up, 350 points over the last 11 sessions. I would imagine, पेट भर गया है. अब let's just sort of take it a bit easy. You also have the Fin Nifty expiry today, as also HDFC Bank's quarterly earnings. So you have to keep an eye out sensibly, is what my suggestion is, Sakshi.
Absolutely. We have to be very, very cautious at this stage. But on the Nifty Bank also, we did see another move back towards the 48,000 mark yesterday. The index closed above it, 48,150 mark as well. But the question is, can this move be sustained? Because we've seen multiple failed attempts at this level in the previous times as well. Now, onus, I believe, Shail, is only on HDFC Bank to pull the index higher, and that too sustainably.
Absolutely right, Sakshi. The tone and tenor of HDFC Bank will decide the movement of Bank Nifty. If you look at the quarterly updates that the bank has provided, it's all fairly good. And remember, this is the merged entity that will be declaring the numbers. So year-on-year comparison will not be worthwhile, because 1 year ago HDFC Bank and parent HDFC were two separate entities. So we'll have to see how these earnings shape up, and of course they will decide the fate of Bank Nifty. Sakshi, at somewhere like 48,158, it's just 500 points shy of the all-time high of 48,636 that was hit on December 29th. So, it's just a whisker. एक सांस लेता है बैंक निफ्टी 500 पॉइंट बढ़ जाता है. Now, much will depend on HDFC Bank, but a very, very strong support, Sakshi, at 48,000 for Nifty Bank bulls. Let's leave it at that.
Okay. Any specific stocks from the F&O basket that you will keep an eye out on, Shail?
Sakshi, if you remember in the fag end of yesterday's show, we were looking at ONGC and oil.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, the government has cut down the windfall tax from 2,300 rupees per ton to about 1,700 rupees a ton. So ONGC is something on the long side, which is doing very, very well on F&O. You look at how sharply the price has risen and how wonderfully the stock has moved 4.3% higher yesterday. Volume was very high. This is a 24% rise in open interest. It's very, very rare for this kind of a stock. So ONGC is something that I'm looking at. And of course, the two metal twins, Nalco and Hindustan Copper, I believe we will be having some news updates on them. So that's all from my side, Sakshi.
Okay, then let's quickly look at how the global markets are shaping up the cues for this morning. Remember, US markets were closed on Monday due to Martin Luther King's holiday, and stock futures held small losses. Asian markets dipped this morning. Nikkei broke its rally. It fell about 0.6% in trade. Hang Seng and Kospi also fell about 1% as well. So we do get weak cues over there. Benchmark indices, the Sensex and the Nifty are likely to open marginally lower as the trends in the GIFT Nifty indicate a negative start for the broader index to the tune of about 50 odd points of a loss. And as far as the flows are concerned, remember on a day when the Nifty hit record high levels, it was foreign investors that were net buyers in the cash market, but domestic investors chose to book profits, and FIIs bought about 1,085 odd crore rupees of stocks, while a consistent selling in the previous four sessions. On the other hand, domestic institutional investors, they sold about 820 odd crore rupees of stocks in yesterday's trading action. Now, as far as the stocks are concerned, keep an eye out also in the primary market space. Investors will be focusing on the debut of Jyoti CNC Automation. And remember, this was a company that got its issue price at 331 rupees a share. This 1,000 odd crore rupees IPO will also witness robust demand. It was subscribed about 38.5 times during the 3-day subscription period. It will be listing today, so we will be keeping an eye out on that. Apart from that, in the secondary markets, all eyes will be on HDFC Bank. Like we are saying, it'll be the earnings day, and that's why the company will be in focus. Angel One has reported its numbers, the highest ever clients added in the quarter, 25 lakh. It's up 16% sequentially. Client base stood at nearly 1.95 crores, again up 14% Q on Q. That's going to be in focus. We've also seen RVNL, that's been the entire railway space has been in buzz. The company has emerged as the lowest bidder for 251 odd crore rupees project from Madhya Pradesh as well. So that's going to be in focus again. PNC Infratech, that's going to be selling 12 SPVs to Highway Infrastructure Trust for an enterprise value of 9,005 crores. Shakti Pumps is going to be in focus. The company will be considering fundraising via QIP on January 18 as well. So that's as far as these stocks will be concerned. Gensol Engineering, it's won a contract for installation of solar power plant of 50 megawatt DC in Chhattisgarh from Sarda Energy for 150 crores. That will be in focus. Geo Financial Services yesterday reported a profit that declined in the third quarter, largely due to the higher operating expenses, which rose about 69% sequentially to 22 odd crore rupees as well. So that again will be in focus. Let's welcome our guest at this point in time. So we now are joined by Gaurav Dua. He's the head of capital market strategy from Sher Khan, and he's joining us now. Very good morning to you, Mr. Dua. It's good to have you with us for the first time in 2024. Season's greetings to you. May the year turn out to be a fabulous one for you.
Happy New Year to all of you. Belated,
Right.
but yes, Happy New Year.
And you're joining at a time when the markets have, after a long haul, achieved that 22,000 mark yet again. What's the gut feeling that you have in the markets? Will the upward run continue, or do you think that we are making a near-term top right now?
So Sakshi, there were always apprehensions, right? I've been on your show a lot of times, and I've been bullish. And since past month and a half, always there were issues, but I said markets are good, they're going up. At this point, markets are not cheap. But you have something like ID sector which have not done well, which is starting to do well. Banking is doing well. RIL, which is the heavyweight in the index, has just given a breakout. So in this kind of a scenario, I don't see any chance for a pull down in, at least in the Nifty. I think Nifty can still go up. However, I think there could be sector-wise profit booking. There could be some spaces which are like overstretched where you would see some say profit booking. And also, I think one needs to be very, very careful in speculative stock, momentum stock, micro cap stocks at this point of time.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Dua, and once again, a happy new year. We hope all the clients of Share can make tons of money as they did in 2023. You mentioned the fact that some parts of the market looked overvalued. Would you want to draw a spotlight on them?
You have these long-term multi-year themes, largely in space of basically engineering, real estate, which for a 2-year period, 4-year period look very, very good. But some of these spaces have seen an extremely sharp run up. I think that's where one needs to take some missing profit home. Secondly, as I said, there are these growth stocks which are now very, very steeply it's valued. That I would include the new age companies, internet companies. I think they have also seen a very good run up, and that's where I think you need to be little this thing careful now.
Okay, Mr. Dua, at this point in time, are there any stocks that you're bullish on? Where are you keeping your eye out on? If you could share one or two top stock picks for all our viewers today.
Before I talk about specific stocks, I would give you this overall view. In our market outlook report of 2024, which came sometime third week of last month, we were extremely clear that in this year, pharmaceuticals, IT, and two-wheelers, auto this OEMs. These uh, are the this three spaces which I think can this thing outperform, which are going to surprise the markets. I think that is already started, right? And I think there is a lot more steam there. So what we have done in our model distinct portfolios also, that at the sometime last month we have added some of the pharmaceutical stocks. I think a stock like Lupin, Zyder Life, uh, this thing, Biocon, which has been our contra call for about just a couple of months. I think these stocks have a lot of steam. I also think that some of the public sector banks, State Bank of India, Bank of India, are a couple of stocks which will outperform. In case of this the ID sector, I we are asking the clients to move from very richly valued some of the this mid cap stocks to some of the large cap stocks like HCL and and also Infosys. So that is the spaces or the stocks that we believe can ensure outperformance in this year.
Okay, what we'll do is we will quickly take a short break right now. When we return, we will continue to discuss more about the stock ideas that you have shared with all our viewers. Stay with us, viewers.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Today on Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi, with me Shail Bhatnagar, as well as with us is our special guest Gaurav Dua from Sharekhan. Mr. Dua, you did take the name of Infosys and some of those IT stocks that you are bullish on. I wanted to understand from you, with the kind of underperformance that we've seen from the IT names in the past 1 year, can we now safely say, with the earnings coming out better, the picture looking positive, that the worst is behind for these IT names and this may be the best time to start accumulating some of these stocks?
Management. I think the this things in terms of the demand environment will improve from here on. More than that, what we are doing is we are taking a top-down macro call. If you see, the multiples of IT companies started to downgrade right from the beginning of 2022, and that to a large extent was driven by the interest rate hikes in US. Now we are talking about interest rate cuts in US, which could start in next 2 to 4 months. If that's the case, I think the whole macro environment for the IT space will change, and there is a scope for multiple upgrades also from here. So that was our large top-down call. Why we turned from this thing neutral to this thing positive on the IT sector.
Okay. Mr. Dua, let's also look at a couple of spaces from the pharma sector. You've mentioned, if I heard very correctly, Lupin as one of your top ideas for 2024. Anything in the large cap space that catches your fancy?
So Lupin used to be the large cap of of this yesteryears. Yes, I think when you talk about the top 4 or 5 pharma spaces, Sun is our this thing top pick. See what has happened in the pharma space. If you this thing go back in time, most of the generic formulation players grew at a very healthy rate, and their share prices went up by 4 or 5 times from 2008 to 2015. And from 2015, these stocks actually came down by 50% plus because of the intense pricing pressure and the decline in the margins in their US business. However, we believe that the entire story in terms of the US pricing pressure is just easing out. Also, the concern linked to the US FDAs in most of these players are also easing out. So what we think is that the whole downturn that we saw in the pharma stocks from 2015 to 2023, that is now actually taking a this thing U-turn. Macro environment again here in this space is this thing changing,
Right, sir.
and that is starting to show on their quarterly numbers, and also on their share price.
Okay. Pre-open trades are in front of us. Sakshi, there is absolutely no let-up in the rally that we are seeing. You have the Nifty about 49 points higher in front of you. Let's look at the stocks that are running this show. Okay. First and foremost, HDFC Bank flat. This is the earnings boy for today and the most important stock for Nifty and Bank Nifty this Tuesday. 1673, nothing much happening there. Let's look at SBI 0.84% higher, 645.45. Let's look at what Infosys is doing, flat 1651. And let's look at what Reliance is clicking, mildly in the green, 0.2% higher, 2794. Let's also look at the top gainer as far as the index heavyweights are concerned. That's SBI, and the top loser is Axis Bank, a percent lower within the index heavyweight space at about 1110 rupees. We'll shift focus to the FNO space. Okay, Sakshi, you had mentioned National Aluminium and Hind Copper, both of them in a very, very strong show. 3.5% higher at 140 on National Aluminium and 9.75% higher at 282 on Hind Copper. What else is blowing strongly? Okay, you have LTTS. Remember, this is the earnings boy, L&T Technology Services, within the Nifty, 5517, 1.3% higher. Fairly strong traction coming in. Let's look at how the NSE 500 is faring. It's a fairly tepid day as far as prices are concerned. Okay, now this is a surprise. Aster DM, this is a hospital chain, 20% higher at 480.20. Remember, they had a transaction which they sold a particular unit, and shareholders are expecting a huge dividend from this particular company. That's being driven into price at 480, about 20% higher. What else is moving fairly strongly? Zydus Life 729, 1.7% higher. We have Polycab 3.5% higher, 43.13. We have it seems to be a pharma day, Sakshi, today. We'll pay attention to it a little bit later. Let's look at the high beta space. We've discussed two stocks, Hind Copper and National Aluminium. You have a strong traction coming in NIACL 3% higher. This is the insurance play, 223. Container Corporation 2% higher, 920. RVNL 1.9% higher, 224.75. And of course IRFC 6% higher, 138. No let up. And IRIDA 126, 3.5% higher. Sakshi, anything that you've observed?
Well, Shail, it's also going to be the oil and gas space that's going to be in focus, just like how you had pointed out, because of the windfall prices cut. So ONGC, Oil India, in fact, all the OMCs will also be in focus. We can see ONGC up by about 0.8% higher, 235 odd rupees. Oil India, that's the one that's also ticking higher by about 0.8% at 400 odd levels. Let's also look at the OMCs at this point in time, HPCL, BPCL and IOCS, to find out how they are ticking away in trade as well. So you have BPCL that's quietly about 0.2% higher. HPCL is flattish with a negative bias today. But I wanted to take Mr. Dua's opinion on the oil and gas space amid India cutting the windfall tax on petroleum crude to 1700 rupees as well. And how would you see the impact for the entire space now?
So yes, with the windfall tax going down, Oil India and this ONGC should do well. Apart from this, we have seen some flow of extremely good news for for this ONGC. They've been able to announce some new finds, so that I think makes this thing ONGC this thing extremely interesting stock. At this price, also dividend yield would be attractive here. So I think ONGC is a buy. Apart from this, in the oil this marketing space, we like HPCL and also also this BPCL.
Okay. And on the other piece of news that Shell just read out as well on the joint venture between Nalco and Hindustan Copper, the mineral exploration company which has signed agreement with the Argentina-based Cayman Sea for the first ever lithium exploration and mining project. This news has really pulled up both the stocks higher in trade. How would you look at them?
So I think both the stocks have been doing extremely well from say past few months, and lot of this news was already there in the market in terms of both these companies trying to get into into this lithium mining. However, I think this is very, very early to take a call. When will the mining start? What could of output will come out, and what will be the impact on the earnings? I think it's more to do right now with the sentiments rather to do with this fundamentals.
Okay. Sakshi, I'd like to mark two more stocks, and these are earnings related. Both a bit of a disappointment coming in, and of course, one of them, Angel One, had run up very sharply. Of course, a very high beta stock, and a bit of a subdued set of earnings that the company reported. Now about 7.9% higher at 35.70. Remember, it's a run up very sharply. As also Geofin, numbers were tepid, and this is what the stock is at the moment in pre-open, 4.8% lower, 254. As also we'll touch upon a couple of housing finance companies and NBFCs, Sakshi. The Reserve Bank of India has again tweaked rules governing how how liquid assets are to be created to keep safety in mind. Therefore, you see Poonawalla FinCorp now about a percent lower at about 497. Let's look at the Nifty list because that's where the the expiry is also today in terms of the weekly expiry. Top losers here would be again Bajaj Finance flat 74.75, LIC Housing Finance 0.2% lower 55.76.50. Such is the grace of this bull markets actually. All dips are being purchased, and unless the news is really negative, there is little or no impact on the stock. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Two more stocks I'll highlight for you, Mr. Dua, and take your view there. One is Paytm. The stock has been in an up move, we do know, and now UBS has initiated a buy rating on the company with a target price of 900 rupees per share. The stock is up about 0.8% higher in trade. How would you look at Paytm?
So we don't have a call on this stock, so I'll not be able to talk much. But
Okay.
yes, out of the new age internet players, this is Zomato and this Paytm are I think two stocks which have scale size, and they have this fairly large scope to grow from here. But I don't have a handle on the valuation, so I'll not talk more about it.
Okay. What about Bharti Airtel? The stock has been in momentum again, and we do know it's at record levels again. And now Axis Securities and JP Morgan, they've both come out with the ratings on this one. 1303 rupees target by Axis. It's initiated a buy on the company. JP Morgan has an 1100 target, which is absolutely at the same level that the stock is trading at. How would you look at the stock?
So I think this is this a buy and hold story. So after a long time, what we have seen is that the industry has become this a two-player industry. ARPUs have started to inch up, not at the rate which was expected by us or which is the wish of the management. However, the this improvement is in the ARPUs is a this extremely good trend, and I think it's a very steady growing, steady gain kind of thing, buy and hold stock now.
Okay. A lot of other
Okay.
stocks also.
Sakshi, the rates have settled,
Yes,
and Sakshi, the rates have settled. 16 points lower, somewhat in sync with what the GIFT Nifty was telling us. This is 22,080 in front of you. Again, any dip towards 22,000 on an intraday basis would probably make sense to be purchased. But like I said, the party is at its peak, and probably you need to book some money out from extremely profitable positions that you've made, or at least pull your stop losses up so that your profit is protected. Again, I'd like to see what HDFC Bank is doing, 0.5% higher, 1681. Let's look at the high beta space where you have Angel One down now, Sakshi, about 9.7%, 3,500. There is a 4.5% downtick on Geo Finance, 254.10. Let's look at the defense space. What's buzzing there? Nothing much. Cochin Shipyard 1.1% higher, 779. Within the Adani pack, nothing much is happening. It's going to be looking like a flat day, Sakshi. I don't see any sharp spurts when it comes to the market. Let's see what's happening as far as the momentum is concerned in the PSU space. This is something that's not disappointed investors. Again, Hind Copper settled 3.9% higher to 66.95. We have GREC Ray. So insurance is picking up 1% higher, 314. Sakshi, anything that you've caught?
Shail, IRFC, that continues to be a winner from the railways pack again, 6.5% up in trade yet again at about 138 rupees. The stock, remember we were discussing this stock, how the stock has shot up from just about 26 rupees at IPO price to 400% from the IPO price in just about 2 years, and all the momentum has happened in the last 6 months alone, and you can see further ticks are coming in on this one again, 6.5% higher at 138.6. Mr. Dua, your own sense of the kind of momentum we've been looking at into the railway space and especially on IRFC, where do you see the stock headed?
Yeah, so that's a space, that has been on fire, I would say. The stocks in railway space keep going up every day, and that makes us slightly uneasy because you can't have a space sector where every day you have this re-rating. So there are some stocks which we are holding. We are advising stocks like RBNL, it's a Jupiter wagon, Titagar wagon. But however, we see little, if there is a pullback in the market, I think this space would be among the spaces where you can have a very sharp pullback because of the kind of this thing rally this thing that you have had. So what we are advising is that you should not try to chase these stocks. Wait, you will get opportunities to enter these stocks at at this better levels.
Okay. I think we also have now our other guest, Ashish Chaturmuda, with us, ED and Fund Manager at JM Financial Services. Very good morning to you, Ashish, and good to have you back on Business Today Television. Happy New Year to you. And I take this occasion to wish all your team members at JM Financial Services, your family and friends as well, to have a superb year ahead as well. And the kind of momentum that we are seeing in the markets and the profits that people are making with your assistance, may they only double, triple and multifold.
Thank you, Swati. Wish you the same, and wish you a very happy New Year to the entire team of BT today. I think markets have been very, very supportive, and I believe with your assistance also investors have been able to generate a very, very strong return. And I know that I've been listening Shailji for last 1 year, and he has been consistently aligned with the way how the PSU banks, PSU, CPSE ETFs, or maybe railway stocks. So we are able to spot on and continue to recommend these stock ideas. So I think yes, investors have made reasonably very good returns in this period. But yes, I think going forward we have to be very, very cautious also, because as we know that in terms of valuation, in terms of momentum, most of these stocks have seen phenomenal rally. So even if we want to ride this trend from current levels, one has to be very, very specific in terms of how the allocation strategy has to be there, and also need to keep some kind of exit plan in these stocks at some point of time. Otherwise, entry is easy, but we should also be very careful about how one need to take an exit at an appropriate time in these names.
Right. A very good morning to you, Ashish. Happy New Year. Let me just pay attention to opening quotes, and then, of course, we'll have a wonderful conversation. So, in sync with what the GIFT Nifty was pointing, Sakshi, a downtick. 63 points lower on the Nifty at about 22,047. 90 points lower on the Nifty Bank, 48,071. Selling pressure on Nifty IT, there is no problem at all. 2 days of fantastic gains, opening now at 286 points lower at 36,920. Now, the low of the Nifty today, ladies and gentlemen, is 22,030. Let us see what happens, because there's been a sharp uptick from that one. Now let's look at stocks that are moving sharply, and then we'll pay attention to how the broader markets are moving. Immediately, let's look at HDFC Bank. Remember, this is the earnings boy, flat at about 1670. What is Reliance doing? Reliance at the moment is 0.5% lower, 2775. And what is Infosys doing? Infosys at the moment is again down 0.85% lower, 1638. Which is the top gainer in the index heavyweight space? It's Bajaj Finance, no surprise there. It's the weekly expiry of Fin Nifty, 7520 for you, up 0.5%. What's buzzing very, very strongly in the markets? It's National Aluminium, 141 as of now, as also Hind Copper, 271.50. We'll pay attention to prices a little later. Ashish, let's just begin conversation with you. Your two top picks for today.
So I think, Shelji, I think PSU banks is something which is catching our eyes, and I think we have been speaking about the PSU bank piece as an ETF, and we still believe there is a very strong consolidation which has happened in the last 5-6 weeks, and in the next rally we expect this index to hit somewhere around 70-72 kind of trajectory. But if I have to play one stock within this basket, then I think Canara Bank is something which looks very promising to us, and my sense is stock is entering into a very strong, I would say, momentum phase. Along with that, we believe with the kind of loan growth momentum we are witnessing in the entire PSU banking stuff, around 17 to 18% kind of loan growth we are expecting. In terms of NPA also, the numbers are very, very reasonable. But from a valuation perspective, most of these banks are around 1.1 time price to book. So this gives us a comfort to, I think, believe that this rally would continue in PSU banks in general, and specifically in Canara Bank. My sense is stock has a very strong long-term support around 450, 452 trajectory. Keeping this in mind, I think on upside stock has a potential to move towards 500, 510 kind of trajectory. So this is one stock which we like within the PSU banks, and I think defense is something which we still continue to believe as a great story, and within that I think Bharat Dynamics is something we have been recommending for a long, and we believe that structurally the stock has a potential to move towards 2000 kind of trajectory. As a disclosure, we continue to hold BDL as our top pick in the defense in our PMS strategies. So as far as BDL is concerned, with around 2400 crore kind of top line, company has almost 24,000 crore kind of order book. So bill to book ratio is almost 9 to 10x, and we believe this entire guided missile has an opportunity of more than 1 lakh crore in coming few years. So I think with a very strong size of opportunity, strong bill to book ratio, and with almost 91% indigenization, Bharat Dynamics is able to generate more than 20% kind of operating margin. So this gives us a lot of comfort to hold this stock, and we believe that around 2050 is a potential target which could be seen in Bharat Dynamics in coming few months.
Okay. Ashish, you've spoken about two of the most buzzing sectors and stocks from there, the PSU banking space and defense. I'll talk about the third one now, and that is railways. We are again seeing IRFC, which is shooting through the roof. It's now up 8.5%, 141 rupees at this current level. Ircon International, that's the other one that's buzzing strongly, 2.5% higher at 206 odd levels as well. RVNL got, an order again today, so that will be in focus again. It's 4.5% higher, 230.9 rupees. So the entire pack is moving. How would you really look at the fresh momentum being generated here? Are any of the stocks still looking very strong on the charts and still fresh positions can be taken?
Sakshi, as a disclosure, we continue to hold a lot of these names in our portfolios, specifically stocks like RVNL, Railtel, and Titagar Wagon. These are the names we continue to hold in our portfolio. We believe that railways has a very strong market size opportunity. But the point is now most of these stocks have seen a phenomenal up move, and from an immediate valuation perspective, the comfort might not be as good as we were having a couple of months back, but from a momentum perspective there are no signs of any reversal. So if I have to give a lesser weight to fundamental and more weight to technical to momentum, then definitely I think stocks like RVNL and Titagar and Jupiter will continue to do well. So my sense is RVNL, which has given a consolidation breakout after consolidating for last 7-8 weeks, I think has a potential to move towards 250 260 kind of trajectory. But for that, I think ideally on downside stock has a support around 220. So with 220 as a strong support, one can take a bet, but need to consider that this is going to be more momentum pick rather than too much driven by fundamentals.
Okay. It's also turning out to be a metals day. Nifty metals is up by 1% in trade today. We're looking at stocks like Hindalco, JSW Steel, Tata Steel, all moving up from the Nifty pack. Even in the F&O space, we have Nalco, Hindustan Copper, which is news driven because of the lithium exploration and mining project that we discussed earlier. Jindal Steel and Power, that's the one that's also moving higher in trade. We were discussing this with our other guest, Mr. Dua, who is present with us. But your own thoughts, Ashish, on the entire momentum in the metal space. Should one go with Nalco and Hindustan Copper amidst this news flow, or is there anything else that strikes you from the metal pack?
So I think metal packs is looking good, but within that I think stocks like Hindalco is gives us a lot of comfort in terms of the valuation, in terms of price behavior. It has corrected from 630 levels to almost 570, formed a strong base around 570 kind of trajectory. So keeping this in mind, 570 should act as a strong support zone, and on upside I think stock has a potential to cross its previous or recent highs of 620 630 kind of trajectory. So we continue to believe metals will do good, but within that Hindalco would be our top bet. One more thing I would like to add, Sakshi, is from a defense basket. We have spoken about Bharat Dynamics. There's one more stock which is Mazgaon Dock, where I think there's going to be a very strong momentum is catching. And again, as a disclosure, we hold Mazgaon Dock in our portfolio. Again, a stock where the bill to book ratio is almost 8 to 9 times. Very strong order book, strong margins, and shipbuilding or navy as a segment has a market size opportunity of close to 3,82,000 crore in next decade. So keeping this in mind, I think Mazgaon Dock is a stock where a potential upside towards 2600 2650 could not be ruled out.
Okay, it's 4% higher at about 2450. Sakshi, as good a time as any to look at the broader markets. We have a 48-point downtick on the Nifty. Most indices which are on the frontline side have opened in the red. We track 19 for you. At the moment, the top loser is the Nifty IT index, 36,831, and about 10 indices are in the red. About 9 in the green. The top gaining index is the Nifty Metals Index, on the news that Sakshi had mentioned about Nalco, as also Hind Copper. There is a heavy activity seen in Steel Authority of India, 117.20, as also something that's clicking from the metal space is of course Hindalco. Fairly strong moves coming in there. The advanced decline ratio, Sakshi, in the beginning of the market is almost 1:1. So some kind of fatigue, some kind of how should I say, pause coming into the excessive and very strong rally that we've seen so far. 1092 stocks in the green, 940 in the red, and at the moment you have IT undergoing a very very strong downtick. All 10 stocks within the IT space are down in the index, 36,854. And let us look at where the profit booking is happening. I had seen a small move coming into Infosys, if I am not wrong. Let me just bring that up. Within the index heavyweight space, Infosys and TCS are the top losers, 0.5% lower on Infosys and 0.74% down on TCS. It's Tata Motors, Sakshi, which is really moving at day's high, and we need to look at this one. 1.3% higher, 823.50. I would believe this is a record high. Ashish, your very quick view on Tata Motors.
So I think Shailji, overall auto is doing extremely well, and within that Tata Motors is one very strong outperforming stock in the last couple of weeks. My sense is the way the consolidation breakout has happened in Tata Motors, it looks like stock is poised for a move towards 900 kind of trajectory in the immediate short term, but I will not be surprised if the stock eventually enters four digit in next 3 to 4 months time frame. So my sense is Tata Motors would be a top pick in the entire auto basket, and now there's a fresh consolidation breakout, so the risk reward is also very favorable. On downside, I think 790 800 is going to be a very important support zone for Tata Motors going forward.
Okay, Sakshi, very quickly, I'll mark the new highs in the market. Remember, it's 926, and we'll just mark the prices because now this is way overextended. IRFC, 138.10, 6% higher. Both Mr. Dua and Ashish have mentioned that these are very very overstretched valuations and charts, so one has to be very careful. We won't be taking a view. RVNL order inflow 227.80, 3% higher. IRB Infra 47.60, 2% higher. We've discussed Tata Motors record high. You have a strong move coming in on the hotel stocks. Indian Hotels 476.55, flat but at a record high, and of course AIH Hotels 292.40. Sakshi, what are you watching?
A lot of PSU banks are again coming back into flavor, Shell. So, all the stocks that, of course, Ashish also pointed out, they are up in trade. You have Union Bank that's up by 2.3%, Central Bank it's up by 1.5%, Indian Bank, UCO Bank, Indian Overseas, they're all up in trade back again. So, it's again those small ticket stocks that investors are going towards as well. Mr. Dua, let me take your view on the PSU banking space. How are you looking at this entire space? Would you say it's a little too late now to take a fresh entry after the substantial momentum that we have actually seen over the last 6 months, 8 months odd in the entire space?
So as I said, apart from IT services and and this pharmaceutical, this public sector banks is the space that we like, and I think it is not too late. This valuation wise also, as apart from SBI, most of the banks are trading at zero point 0.8 to 1.1 price to book, and at the distinct peak of a public sector bank cycle, they can trade as much as around 1.5 to 1.8 times price to book. So I think public sector bank look good both in the this thing short term as well as over this thing 2 to 4 year period.
Okay. And the other space, Mr. Dua, that we just discussed is the auto space, which you also pointed out that you are bullish on in 2024. So Tata Motors is something that Shell pointed out. How are you looking at the auto ancillary basket, which has again shown momentum? Stocks like Samvardhana Motherson, Minda. We've actually seen a lot of battery makers and even tire stocks been in momentum over the last few months. How would you look at this entire ancillary basket and your top choices there?
So ancillary is a this extremely vast space, and we believe that you will still find a lot of stocks there which can give you handsome gains from here. And we have been basically for last about a year this is focusing on say forging players, Bharat Forge and RK Forge. Both the stocks have done extremely well. This lately we had a stock idea on on the six Subros. I think with the whole rules regulation that this commercial vehicles will also have to have ACs. I think the six Subros has extremely long uh, this is growth outlook from here. Apart from that, this is Uno Minda is a stock this is that we like in this space.
Okay, let's look at the broader markets for a change. Sakshi, Bajaj Finance, remember, today is the weekly expiry, 1.7% higher at about 76.08. We'll take a very quick view from Ashish on this one. And apart from Bajaj Finance, I believe it's the day of autos. Ashok Leyland 178.45, very very strong set of block deals happening. Kick started with one at 2 crore rupees. 1,17,000 shares, and of course Hero Motors 44.28, and this is after December volumes was not in sync with what analysts expected, but that's the whole show as far as markets are concerned in this fabulous bull rally. Ashish, first Bajaj Finance and then Hero Motors.
So Shalji, I think my sense is, the entire NBFC space is looking quite promising, and we have discussed quite a bit about stocks like Poonawalla FinCorp in our previous discussions, and I think the entire space looks quite promising. But as far as Bajaj Finance is concerned, if I look into the medium to long term perspective, it looks like stock is going to be into a consolidation phase between 7,800 to 7,400. This is going to be a broad range for a stock in days to come, and till the time we don't see a eventual breakout above 7,800 kind of trajectory, I think this is going to be more sideways within this range. But if I have to play this entire NBFC space, then my preferred bet would be stocks like Shriram Finance, which is available at 1.4, 1.5 time forward price to book valuation. And if you look at from a pure comparison perspective, the stock is trading at a good discount to its peers. And I think the way the business momentum is happening with almost 18% kind of loan growth in Shriram Finance, my sense is this stock is poised for a move towards 2,400 to 2,450 kind of trajectory. So Shriram Finance is one stock which we like, and again a disclosure, we continue to hold our positions in Shriram Finance in our portfolios. And as I mentioned, Poonawalla FinCorp in the mid cap NBFC space is something which is of interest to us. Again, disclosure, we continue to hold the stock in our portfolio. We think that with 35 to 40% kind of AUM growth, which Poonawalla expects in next few couple of years, and with ROA of more than 4%, I think this is a strong parentage company with low cost of fund. This gives a lot of advantage to Poonawalla FinCorp. So we believe this stock can move towards 550 to 600 kind of trajectory in coming few months.
Okay, just a word on Shriram Finance. Ashish was with us somewhere in the month of October, late October, and the stock was in the vicinity of 1,800 rupees. That is the point when Ashish had mentioned the very juicy valuations that Shriram Finance offered, and from then on it's moved up to 2,400. Of course, the market has played a very important part in this fantastic rally. Let's get Mr. Dua into the conversation. Gaurav, would you have a view fundamentally on Shriram Finance?
Yes, I think the stock at this price also looks attractive to us. In fact, we think because of these RBI rules which have been announced, some of these stocks might go down, and that will be an opportunity to buy. We are also actively tracking this LIC Housing Finance, and also this thing. This is PNB Housing. I think both these stocks, in terms of the valuation, also look extremely attractive, around 1 to 1.2 times price to book. And if you are going to have a multi-year upturn in this property cycle, uh, I think housing finance companies will do well.
Okay. Sakshi, there's no let up in Tata Motors. This is something that we'll have to mark now. Consistent days high that we are looking at 826.25. I'll just very quickly look at how the volumes have been shaping up on Tata Motors. No surprise here, Sakshi. This is the second most active traded counter on the Nifty at the moment, 827 in cash, 1.8% higher. We've already discussed this with Ashish. Okay, what else is ticking? I just want to see the advanced decline ratio on the Nifty. This one is at the moment looking a bit weak, 38 points lower, 22,060. Okay, Nifty advanced decline ratio is 1:1. Not much to be worried about. Let's see how the first 20-25 minutes of trade pass on. Now, what are the other stocks that I'd like to mark? Second day running Dredging Corporation. This is a very, very high beta counter from the PSU space. I think yesterday it was up 19%, and today the rally is now consuming it at about 8.3% higher. Ashish, would you stick your neck out on Dredging Corp?
So Shailji, I don't track the stocks very closely, but yes, from a pure technical perspective, there is a good rounding bottom formation which is taking place in Dredging Corporation. And looking into pure charts perspective, this looks like stock is poised for a move towards 900 kind of trajectory purely based on the charts. But we don't track it from a fundamental perspective, so I think it would be half cooked data from my side.
Well,
Absolutely. Let's stay away. It's always best not to. Yeah, Sakshi, go ahead. Go ahead.
A lot of these stocks related to the capital markets, they're coming back in flavor. Remember, Angel One is down because of the reaction on the earnings, but ICICI Securities is ticking higher today. BSE Limited, that's the one that's also moving up in trade. CDSL is showing slight ticks on the green side again. Ashish, how would you look at this basket of stocks? There was a time when all of them were moving on a day after day, and substantial momentum was seen on this one. They took a pause for a long time. Do you think they are getting ready for another leg up?
Yes, definitely. My sense is they are getting ready, and I think this entire financialization of savings as a theme is going to make more traction. And within that, there are certain pockets to play. So if I have to play within the depository as well as on the exchanges side, I think CDSL and BSC, they looks very 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 promising. CDSL has consolidated for last, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks, and my sense is stock has formed a good base around 1780, 1800 kind of trajectory. If it continues to hold about this, then I think a potential move towards 2200 could not be ruled out. Again, a disclosure, we continue to hold this stock in our portfolio. On the broker side or on the wealth management side, I think Nuvama is one stock which is catching our eyes. Again, the stock has consolidated for last 5 weeks, and my sense is stock is poised for a fresh all-time high breakout eventually. My sense is stock has formed a good base around 3600, 3580 kind of trajectory. Keeping this in mind, my sense is 4200, 4300 is a potential target one can look for in Nuvama from a price objective perspective.
Understood. Well, fair enough. What we'll do is we'll take a very, very short break right now. When we return, we will continue the conversation on all of the stocks and sectors that are buzzing in trade and the strategies that both Mr. Dua and Mr. Chaturmota are recommending you. Stay with us.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Today on Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi, with me Shail Bhatnagar. Also with us are our two guests, Gaurav Dua and Ashish Chaturmuda, who are constantly picking out some key stock ideas for all of you. Mr. Dua, let me take the shipping space with you. Ashish pointed out Mazagon Dock, and all the other stocks are now moving in tow. We're looking at Cochin Shipyard, that's ticking higher by about 3.5% at 796. We have Great Eastern Shipping Company, that's 2.4% up in trade as well. Shipping Corporation of India is also moving up, and Mazagon Dock already pointed out by Ashish earlier. How are you looking at the momentum here now? Fundamentally speaking, is this a good time to accumulate some of these stocks despite the kind of momentum that we've already seen in the past?
So, this Mazagon Dock is one of the stocks that we have liked in this space, especially, Mazagon Dock and HAL in terms of play on defense. And I think these stocks are buy and hold stocks. Though, the kind of attractive prices that they were available over a year and a half back when we started buying it, it is this is no more the case. However, we still believe if you have a view of about year and a half, these stocks will still still this thing make you money. Now coming to the second rung of the stock, basically Garden Reach, Cochin. I think here I think one needs to be careful, and I think we can also play the defense, defensive vessels through stocks like like Titagar, and we would like to do that rather than go into these second tier companies in the space.
Okay, 9:42, ladies and gentlemen. We already have about 25 minutes of trade in front of us. Let's look at how the Nifty is shaping up. Still down 38. A point to remember is that the losses are not getting aggravated, and an intraday correction seems to be in place. Let's see how it pans out throughout the day. It's the auto space that is coming up really well. And Sakshi, I just like to mark very quickly the fertilizer sector, which is doing fairly well. It started to move after many days. We have stocks like RCF and FACT, that's Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers for you. It's moving fairly sharply, 174.25 for you. Let's look at FACT. Remember, this is a very low float stock. There is no way but to mark it and not take a view. 1815 for you. You have stocks like GSFC now moving up again 2.5% higher at about 289.90. So this is a sector that's joined the rally. You have SPIC at 84, 2.13% higher. Paradeep at about 50.75, flat at the moment. So this is one sector along with paper that's moving fairly sharply. You have JK Paper doing phenomenally well at this point of time, and this is how stocks are moving, at least in the cash space. Ashish, would you have a favorite within paper and fertilizer, or this is something that you don't track?
So we are very selective in the paper segment, and I think we like the quality name within this as JK Paper. Our sense is this stock has consolidated for last, I would say, 12 months time frame, and the way it is coming out of this consolidation phase, Shell, by my sense is the stock is going to eventually cross the all-time high. The stock has formed around 450 kind of trajectory, and positionally my sense is 480 to 500 could not be ruled out in next 2 to 4 months time frame in JK Paper. So I think yes, this is a very strong breakout which is happening in JK Paper, and I think on downside now 410 to 405 would be a very strong support in the stock. So yes, within paper, I think JK Paper would be our preferred bet.
Okay, JK Paper as the preferred bet in the paper space as well. Apart from this, I'll take your view, Mr. Chaturmuta, and then Mr. Dua also on Aster DM Healthcare, if you can talk about the kind of momentum that we've seen, it's news driven. Do you have a call here? Do you track this stock at all? Aster DM Healthcare? It's up by 8.8% right now. It's hovering near 435 odd levels currently, and a very strong momentum has been generated after the news flow.
So I think as far as the news flow is concerned, we know that there's going to be a dividend for almost 120 to 130 rupee because of the
Yeah.
African businesses getting sold, and I think the focus will be on the India business, and we know how the entire healthcare space has been doing well in India, whether it's Narayana Rudralaya or Apollo Hospital or a niche player like Rainbow. Child. So all these stocks have been in a very, very good traction. My sense is Aster DM, because of its focus now in India business, will lead to some amount of re-rating. Today, obviously, the move is more news driven, but from a more medium to positional perspective, it looks like stock is going to be in a positive trajectory in days to come.
Okay. Mr. Dua, your own sense of Aster DM or maybe the entire healthcare basket, anything that strikes you?
So we like the space, and specific to Aster, the this oversize this operation was an overhang on the stock, and exit from there, and the fact that the this management is planning to this pass on that money to the to the shareholders in form of dividend, I think is doing well for the stock. However, on the other hand, there is also a thought. If you are able to raise this money and you are in a space where there is a lot of growth, why don't the management use that money for growth in India? I think so. A huge kind of a payout is good in the this thing short term for the stock, but the whole idea that the management is this thing paying out that money and not planning to use that cash for growth also shows that probably they don't have this is such aggressive plans for growth. So that's the thing. I think one needs to need to this thing take into account say as an investor. But in this space, this is what we like is this Artemis. I think that's a stock. I think where you have a lot of growth. Valuations are also interesting at around 9-10 times EV EBITDA on this FY25. I think there you have substantial say, scope for re-rating.
Okay, now almost the first half an hour of trade is done. Sakshi, what's really interesting is that we may be waiting for a correction, but the Nifty has its own thoughts. हो गया आधे घंटे का correction, 15 minute का correction. Now it's now down just 11 points. And what are the stocks that are which are moving up and contributing to this uptick? Okay, let's look at the pullers and draggers list for the Nifty. You have ICICI Bank contributing a positive 6 points. Bajaj Finance is up 1.2%. It's contributing 6 points. Bharti Airtel, this is something that Sakshi has been tracking over the last 1 month or so. I think a record high, up 1% and contributing 6 points. L&T and Axis Bank 4 points each, both in the green. Okay, now what else is creating a pain? HCL Tech, we shouldn't be really concerned. It's down about 2.35%, and it's a downfall of 10 points on the Nifty because of HCL Tech, 8 points because of Infosys, HDFC Bank 7 points negative, RIL and TCS about 10 points each. So the three index heavyweights, which is RIL, Infosys and HDFC Bank, are on the losers side today, yet the index is up, and in my thing it should be in the green over the next 2 or 3 seconds. Sakshi, 22,095 intraday correction हो गया, अब ऊपर का रास्ता देखने को मिल रहा है. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Let's look at some of the stocks in the Nifty 500 basket that are moving up. Some of them we've already pointed out for you. Capri Global Capital, that's up by 12% at 910. Aster DM Healthcare, we discussed 9% up in trade. IRFC, that's up by 8%. ICICI Securities is up by 4.5% at 793 odd levels. You have Borosil Renewables, that's up for the second or the third day in a row, about 3.5% higher in trade. Hindustan Copper News driven about 3.5% up in trade. GMR Airports Infra, that's the one that's taking up now, 3.4% up in trade. Intellect Design Arena, 3% higher in trade as well. So this is the momentum in the broader market space. Ashish, let me take your view on GMR Airports Infra. The stock has had a good run in the recent past. It's right now at the day's high, 3.2% higher, still under 100 rupees attractive price level. Would you go with it?
See, we don't have the stock in the portfolios, but yes, from a price perspective, I think it has consolidated for last 5 weeks, 5 days, and consolidated enough, and now again in a upward trajectory. So now 82, 83 is going to be a crucial support zone. It looks like stock is eventually going to enter into 100 levels. So I think yes, there is a strong risk reward which suggests good 14 to 15% upside could not be ruled out from current levels in GMR airports.
Okay. Ashish, in your opening commentary, you had mentioned PSU banks as a basket, which you feel very confident about at current levels. Let's discuss this in some detail. 2023 was dominated by two stocks, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, from the PSU banking basket. What does 2024 hold for this genre, and where are you putting your serious money from the PMS in the public sector banking space?
So, Shailji, my sense is, this entire basket will do good, because if you look into the loan growth momentum, it is almost 17-18%. We have seen very strong capex being done by PSU companies or government. Capex was very high in last couple of years, and I think now we expect the same amount of momentum to come into the capex from private players. If that has to happen, then a lot of this money, the loan growth is going to come from basically PSU banks, and with very stable, I would think the NPA numbers, the GNPA numbers, this stocks will be on re-rating candidate. And as we mentioned, most of these banks as a basket are trading around 1.1 time price to book, and if this kind of strong financial performance continues, then I think a valuation of almost 1.5 to 1.6 price to book could not be ruled out. Keeping this in mind, in the large cap space, my top pick would be State Bank of India, where I think this will continue to ride to see the rise. But what we need to also understand, from a valuation perspective, SBI is already above 1.4, 1.5 times. So from a leader perspective, SBI will continue to do well, and can target somewhere around 680, 700 kind of trajectory. But from a price behavior perspective, I think Canara Bank would be the top performing stock. This is our sense, and my sense is a move towards 500 in the medium term and 540 in the long term could not be ruled out in Canara Bank from current levels.
Okay. Mr. Dua, your sense?
Bank of India at the moment at 135.50. Yes, Sakshi, go ahead, please.
Mr. Dua, your sense, do you think the tables will turn? Just like how Shail was pointing out, it was the lower rung PSU banks that were the flavor of 2023. Do you think the tables will turn in 2024? Will SBI and PNB take the charge this time around from PSU banking space, or will it be still the smaller ticket items that would be more in flavor?
So, if you want to play the momentum, you can go to smaller stocks. But I think if you are an investor, then Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, and BOB, I think these are the three large banks which we think will do well, where we have substantial scope for improvement in price to book valuations, and there'll be more distinct stability. But as this Ashish was also saying, we have also been extremely bullish on the basket approach, and we have been advising our clients to go in for this Nippon India Public Sector Bank ETF, and that we started to push at the price of 18, 19. That has reached around 60 to 62 now, and we believe you can that ETF itself can go to 80, 85 level in a year. So I think to play the smaller banks, you can go in for basket approach through ETF, and you can have a buy and hold approach on the this thing large banks.
Okay, Sakshi, we have the Nifty in the green, 2 points higher, 22,099. That's how it is. It's my fond hope to see 22,124 before the Ram temple is consecrated to the nation, and that will most likely happen today. ONGC has started to move. Ashish, to you, you've been a very, very long proponent of the energy space, starting with NTPC and Coal India. But it's, and of course, those stocks have done fabulously well. What would be your view be on ONGC? 236.60 today.
So again, a very very strong, breakout candidate. But and I think this rally will continue to do well in ONGC. But rather than playing ONGC on its own, I would still prefer Shelbhai to go for CPSC ETF, because you can't play each and every stock within the PSU bank. So where the tailwinds were very high. So for example, in power, where we believe this 170 gigawatt renewable energy capacity is going to go to 500 gigawatt with almost 17% CAGR growth. I think the proxy to this theme would have been stocks like NTPC, SJVN, or for that matter, even at current levels, we still like PFC as a stock. But if we want to play the entire, I think, public sector entities like Coal India or ONGC, or for that matter HPCL or BPCL, rather than taking individual bets, my sense would be to go for CPSC ETF, which is currently trading at 70. We have been discussing this ETF since 2022 kind of trajectory. My sense is this ETF itself has a potential to move towards 80-85 kind of trajectory in days to come. So my preference would be towards ETF rather than individual names within this basket.
Okay.
Okay.
Sakshi, I think we'll have to mark Bank of Maharashtra. This is a level which was last seen on 4th of October, and it's a mild change in digit. It's now in 51 rupee zone, and the all-time high for Bank of Maharashtra is still hugely away, 95 rupees. This was in January of 2008. So we'll get anxious on that one a little later. But for the moment, it's the highest level since July of 2014. And this is accompanied by a very, very sharp spurt in volume. So this is how prices are moving. And of course, what else is moving? We had picked up Samvardhana Motherson at somewhere like 95 rupees. Ashish bhai, your view on this auto ancillary?
So Samvardhana Motherson is a good play, and my sense is it's a good play on the entire auto ancillary space. Again, a good breakout on the long term chart. So like stock is poised for a move towards 125 in the medium term, short to medium term trajectory. My sense is this is a fresh breakout. So on downside, the risk reward is also favorable, with 106, 107 is going to act as a very very strong support zone. So yes, it looks quite good for 8 to 10% kind of upside from current levels. And again, we mentioned about Bharat Dynamics on in the opening show, and my sense is the stock has hit a fresh all-time high. So my belief is this entire defense basket, which is a very very big opportunity, will continue to do very well even from current levels.
Okay, just one stock before you leave, Ashish, and we wind down this edition. Angel One, the stock is down now 11 odd percent after reporting the numbers and subdued set of numbers over that. Would you still look at this level as a buy on dip, or should one stay away?
So we'll wait, Sakshi, because stock has seen a very stellar up move from almost 1,000 to 4,000. We have seen in a very, very short span of time. So maybe some time consolidation, time correction could not be ruled out at current levels. So we will have a wait and watch approach at this point of time.
Okay, well, many thanks, Ashish, and many thanks, Mr. Dua, for being with us on this fantastic edition where you've shared with us such wonderful insights with all our viewers. It's always a pleasure having you with us on Business Today Television. The Nifty right now, 22,081 at 16 points lower in trade. We will continue to monitor the prices for you and mark out these levels for you through the trading session as well. So stay with us on Business Today Television and we will see you on the closing trades. With that, it's a goodbye from me and Shail on this edition.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Hello and welcome to Business Today Television. I'm Siddharth Zarabi, live from the Business Today Television studio here at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Behind me